Hi guys, I'm Logan Taylor.
And I'm Chris.
And we are Logan and Chris.
The best couples channel on the internet. Who said that?
We did.
We did, no, but
Nobody else.
Nobody else.
Nobody else has ever said that before.
Nope, and they never will. If you clicked on this, you're probably, wanting to know the answer to the question. So what we wanted to talk about today was why we left the film industry.
We do want to preface by saying that there were a lot of jobs that we worked on that we really loved, and we actually met some of like our favorite people in the world and some of the coolest people in the world working on these jobs that were, quite frankly, at the core, just really cool jobs to work on. And we are very lucky to have had the opportunity to be able to work in the film industry. And so we want to preface that it was not all bad, and we made some really amazing friends in the process.
We worked in the film industry for a few years right out of high school. We started working on local jobs where we lived in Florida, and that motivated us to move to New York City to pursue being in the film industry and trying to make it out there. Our main experience was in the wonderful world of reality television TV. Reality TV. I didn't know if you were gonna say, I thought we were gonna swap it. And then on top of that, when we were in New York, we also were able to work on a few TV shows and short films.
And I worked on a couple of like scripted TV shows as well.
Yeah, and we were able to do background acting. So we were able to kind of see how the industry worked from every single side, although...
Except for the movie side.
Yeah, we actually never did...
We never ended up in that realm.
Yeah, by the experience on television shows, it's kind of like movies are that, but just longer.
Our first reason for leaving the film industry is probably the most basic, easy reason to say. And that just really comes down to the fact that every single day is 12-hour days. Every single day on set is a 12-hour day on set.
Minimum.
Minimum.
There were definitely times where we went 14 hours. I think the longest that I worked on was 21 hours.
And I think that, there were plenty of jobs that I felt like we ended up being compensated for our extra time. But I will say that sometimes there is that kind of vibe of, we are not going to be able to pay extra, but if you leave early, that's going to put us all in a bad situation type of thing.
Guilt tripped if you wanted to get out of there after working what you were going to be paid to work for.
And I think that that's something that our relationship would have suffered through had we not been lucky enough to work on almost every single job together.
Another reason that is one that people are definitely talking about more now, and it's just the truth of it, I wish that someone would have talked more about it when we were coming up, is there's kind of a weird way of treating people in the film industry, and there's kind of a weird hierarchy.
Yeah, which, I know exists in so many other jobs in the world, and I know that this isn't an isolated industry for that, but it was definitely just very apparent all the time. And especially with the film industry, you are usually hopping job to job to job to job with new crews, new people, and it's just always weird because, again, I'll say this 100 times, it's not every job, and there are so many, there are, like anything, better jobs than others. But ultimately, there were things that we really did face, I would say, in 75% of jobs we worked, where it was just, would the right word be demeaning?
Yes.
Or
yes, there was
would that be the right word?
There was just a lot of people that were forgot to treat people like human beings, and that came from a place of being in a position that was higher up, and that is just not what I'm about. It's not what you're about, especially seeing each other in their separate roles, experiencing that on a day-to-day basis was just hard. Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is that when you're in the film industry and you're at that very bottom level, which is usually a production assistant, when you're at that level, you just have to kind of be willing to take the brunt of a lot of things. You have to be willing to try to fix every single problem that could ever come up in small scenarios. And you have to also be ready for any mistake that happens. You have to be ready for that to be put on your shoulders. Quite frankly, you have to be really thick-skinned. That did result in me just not ever feeling like it was quite the right path for me. I ended up with hurt feelings a lot, probably crying quite a few times. Like
yeah, and it's weird though, because like specifically like in this industry, like we've had conversations with people about this, is like people are like, that's what it's like you kind of just have to like, you know, put in your dues, like you know, like you have to go through that and eventually it'll get better. But like we just didn't really agree with that.
I think we knew that in order for us to not have to travel pretty much 24/7, we were gonna have to be living in a place like New York or Los Angeles. And I think after our year in New York, it was just kind of our realization of like this isn't our long term. We just didn't want to get ourselves so wrapped up
to where we felt stuck, you know, where it became like our full livelihood and it was like hard to let go of it. But the thing is, like, it still was hard to let go of it for us because being in the film industry, like, you know, being on set, like that was our identity. Like that's what people knew us as. That's what every time we went somewhere, people would ask us about it. And so it's kind of hard to be known for something around your friends and your family and other people. And then one day it's like, oh, I don't, you know, I'm not a part of that anymore. I don't do that. And it's hard to, you know, take what you were doing for your, you know, our careers and
just completely detach yourself from that.
When we relocated to Kansas, there's only like a certain amount of shoots here and we're kind of like not the people that would be called for that immediately. And so we kind of were out of our element. And then a couple months went by and we were like, wow, like we don't really miss this. But ultimately, that is why we left the film industry. We took our old identity and we threw it in the trash can.
We've learned a lot of lessons and we've quite frankly learned a lot about ourselves, I think. And I think that a lot of what we did was fun and there were a lot of not so fun moments, and I think that all of those kind of ended up making us realize a lot about ourselves and what we do like and what we don't like. And I think that that's something that like ultimately we have to appreciate because that's a huge part of developing who we are right now.
Yeah. Ooh, I like that. Let's go. That was good.
If you guys have any questions for us about working in the industry, and if after listening to what we had to say,
if it still sounds appealing to you,
which there are so many people that it does. We have so many great friends in the film industry and their skin is much thicker than mine and they do much better.
Just are more passionate about it. It was just like a season of life where we were super passionate about it and then came out and we were like, you know what, that was it, chapter closed, and that's okay. But I still feel like there's a lot of advice that we could share or talk about or answer, you know, either in another video or in the comments. So definitely let us know if you have any questions. I think the biggest question I have for people is, what is your favorite movie and what is your favorite reality TV show? But thank you guys so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed this little story time. Sometimes it's nice to just sit down and talk to you guys and make a video like this. So hopefully you enjoyed it and learned some things about life and yourself in the film industry. So what should they do?
They should definitely like this video.
Smash the like button.
Because that'll make us really happy.
Yes.
And they should definitely subscribe to the channel.
Yes.
If they're not already, because that would also make us pretty happy.
Say bye, Hazel.
Say bye.